Hi, it's Mark Sarazano from the International Piano Technician School, and Joris posted a video of major thirds, and I want to show you an easy way to determine if the major thirds are progressive. That's what he was asking. Can you hear the beats increasing progressively in these thirds? Tell me if they sound okay. I'm going to show you how to do it for yourself. So when people listen to these thirds and give an opinion, that's all it is an opinion. An opinion is the lowest form of knowledge. As an engineer and registered piano technician and a certified educator, I'm more concerned with the actual truth of the matter. Opinion means nothing to me unless it's can be backed up with evidence. Because we can't be following down this rabbit hole of I think this and you think that. I've seen piano technicians make opinions that are measured and found out to be wrong. And that's because of oral illusion. This is something that we have to deal with and we have to believe. If you don't believe that your ear can be tricked, you're going to believe your ear when it's tricked. And that's not going to get you accurate results. So let me show you how we find out what the real answer is about this. So I've downloaded this video and now it's in QuickTime Player. You go to QuickTime Player, export as audio. Now we're going to have an audio of this. You save it, make sure you know where you save it. Now when I go to that video or that audio right here and open it, I've got it set so it's going to open in Ocean Audio. Ocean Audio is a free program. There's the icon right there, Ocean Audio. What I do here is I will take this and convert it to a mono. And now here are our major thirds. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to use a concept at the International Piano Technician School that is very, very powerful. This is the concept right here. And it's how you get better. If you want to get better, this is how you get better. Oral feedback loop. We're going to make a judgment by ear. Okay, so let's do it. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Okay, so my ear said that I think it was the third, the fifth, and the last one slowed down. So when we're listening to progressive beat rates, there's an ideal. They're supposed to increase about 6% each one. Luckily, our ear can hear that. It can't hear anything that increases less than 3% or 5%. 3 to 5. That 3 to 5% increase, our ear thinks it's the same speed because our ear cannot hear beat rates that are different by less than 5%. Does not hear them different, hears them the same. This is a limit of the human ear. And again, we need to understand and know what our limits are in order to use our faculties correctly and be able to get them to give us the correct answers that we want, instead of just being tricked by our ear. Okay, so now the question is, what if it increases by 12%? Am I going to know? No, again, it's an opinion. Your opinion is, oh, I think this is increasing by too much. That's just an opinion. But if it slows down, that's not an opinion. That actually happens, and we know it's wrong. But if it speeds up by too much, you're kind of guessing. Is that too much or not? So that's why in this case what we're doing is listening specifically for when they slow down. So after we do that, I make our judgment by ear. Now I am totally ready and aware to be proven wrong because I know that I can't trust my ear. This is another very specific concept of the International Piano Technician School, and it's one of the many reasons why this school is the best school for piano tuners, because we have these concepts that we built our system on. Number one, we don't trust our ear, which sounds like a ridiculous thing for a school to say when we're teaching people how to tune pianos by ear, but it works. Because we don't trust our ear, we're going to get some feedback, okay? In this case, we're going to use Ocean Audio. We can also use other oral systems. We don't need to use technology. And what we do in the school is teach you how to use the GoApe system to get better feedback, and using things like, don't make opinions, do external comparisons instead of internal. Okay, so let's go and use Ocean Audio. So you can take Ocean Audio and you can filter 2 intervals, chromatic intervals, with 1 bandpass. So we go effects, filter, bandpass, loop, make sure it's 200 decibels per decade, play. And now find the coincident partial it's beating by sliding these. There you go. And then I do a normalize. This unison is bad. That's what that means. Usually we can get these better. We can get them to look better. Let me see if I can do this. I think that's going to be cleaner. Yeah, that's cleaner. I'll do one at a time here. Just usually I can do two, but this, somehow it's. There we go. See how clean that is? I don't know if this person has open unisons or not, or if these are false beats. But if they are open unisons, that means both unisons are clean because the beat rate is clean. And what's the most important thing of a tuning? Unisons. So at the school, when somebody sends in a recording, first thing they will do is play each of these notes 3 times loud, and that tests the stability. Those loud blows should not knock it out. I have a macro here, so I can just set that. So you see here, there's definitely a problem with this. There's a beating of a beat. That's why that's beating. That's like the major third has a coincident partial at the 5/4. That means the 5th partial of the bottom note, 4th partial of the top note. So that means the 5th partial of the bottom note is beating like this, or the 4th partial of the top note is beating like this. And we mark unisons. Every single thing you send into us gets marked for unisons, as well as the main goal was of the unit. For example, if we had a unit where you were supposed to send in progressive major thirds, which we do for the temperament, but we also measure the fourths because musical intervals are more important than progressive intervals. And the fourths and the fifths are musical in that we're trying to make them the least ugly as possible. We have other intervals in the tuning system that are pure. In fact, in the treble, there's about 6 or 7 that are all pure. So our goal would be to make them pure, even if there's a chance maybe that we've destroyed the progressive intervals, because progressive intervals are not musical. Nobody's going to listen to a tuning and say, oh, listen to those, except maybe another piano technician. But no musician's going to listen to those major thirds and say, oh, they're not progressive. They might listen to the whole song and make a comment concerning the speed of the major thirds in different chords being more pleasant, for example, if it's a historical temperament, playing Baroque music, for example. Let's see if we can get this. Okay, I can barely hear that, but it's in there. Sometimes we have a problem with beat rates cutting out, canceling each other out, but there is something in there. Okay, so now what do we do? Well, the next thing we want to do, you can go to my website, howtotunepianos.com. If you go to the ear training course, you'll be able to download a spreadsheet. And in that spreadsheet, you'll be able to enter your measurements. And so, for example, for the temperament, we have this here. So we have all these major thirds and major sixths that we use to calculate the fourths. But for this short section, I think he's playing, starts with F-A, and he goes up to C-E. Yeah. So he's not doing the whole temperament. We want C sharp F as well right here. But we can do F-A. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the unisons. Now here, that's a 4 out of 4 for unisons. Not only is the beat rate declining nice and smoothly and evenly, but it's also very easy to hear. So, and that's because the 2 unisons are clean. But this is not good when you have something like that. So the volume goes down and then gets louder by more than double. So you lose a mark. So that would be 3. This one here, it does it twice. And we do it in 2 seconds. I think this guy, he's only held it for 1.6. students are asked to hold the intervals for 3 to 4 seconds. So that loses 2. There's a real stinker unison in there. This one here, we don't really, something like that, we don't take marks off for. I mean, it's so clean and easy to hear. And that would just sound like a swelling unison anyways, even though it gets louder. So that would be a 4. This one here, same thing, another 4. Here, another 4. Even though there is a problem here, I call this the blob. You see that? Look at that one is 141. The one right beside it is 86 up in the top right there. So that's because there's probably a problem with both unisons and they're canceling each other out, but it's affecting the beat rates. Here again, there's blobs going on here. And see here? Everything's fine until when it gets really quiet and then all of a sudden this happens. So we'll take a, even though that's kind of like a swelling, we'll only take a half a mark off there. And then for the last one, see how it gets quiet and then starts to get a little bit louder? We'll take a half a mark off there. Now, so the mark, the unison mark that we got here will be the total of all of these divided by the highest possible total, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 32. 4 times 8, 32. So that mark is 88%. Now that's a pass because 80 is a pass. So that's very good for unisons. But we like to get 90s. You're not going to get, the final unit in the school is being tested by an independent concert level technician. He will not be happy with those unisons. So just know that. So now let's go and measure the beat rates. How we do that is we take the first 4 clean beats. Now this is a problem. We go from valley to valley. It's a problem because the first beat rates are not clean because of the unison. So now we got to go into an area of the interval that might not be the same speed as it would be here if it was clean. And we generally want to listen to the beginning of the interval because that's where all the music happens. We always hear the beginning of a note. We don't always hear 1 second, 2 seconds down the road. 2, the beat rates can change over time. And 3, if you listen at the beginning, you'll be that much faster in your tunings instead of playing it and listening for 5 seconds. If you listen and make a judgment after 1 second, you'll be 5 times faster. So the time for 4 beats is 544 milliseconds. So 4 beats divided by 544 milliseconds gives us 7.4. So right off the bat, we have an idea that maybe there's something wrong because that's supposed to be about 7 beats per second. Doesn't mean it's not correct. Maybe this piano needs 7.4. Then we go to the next one. See here, right in the trough, you got this blob where you have, it looks like two beat rates are squashed together. Yeah, no good. So we have to go to the first 4 clean beats. It'll be that 481. So now we see that this beat rate is increasing, but by 13%. So the way we mark is that if it's between 0%, actually I think -5, yeah, because if it's the same speed, or if it's double what it should be. So from -5, because that's going to sound the same to your ear because we can't hear differences of -5% or less. So it's actually, if it's actually slower by 5%, you don't lose any marks. You get 100%. But if it increases by more than double what it should, so more than 12%, you lose whatever that is. So it's over by 1.1, so you lose 1.1%. On all of these. And I think I said the third, The third one slows down. So that's 452. And it says it speeds up. Did I say the third? Yeah. So there I'm wrong. And now what we do is this. You make a judgment by ear, you get the feedback, and if you're wrong, confirm by ear. So first of all, don't be upset that you're wrong. Confirm by ear. This is a chance for you to learn. So let's listen and see. Oh, it was this one that. Let me listen. That one sounds slower. That's definitely slower. Is there something wrong here? No, these are all 4s. That's definitely slower. Something's wrong. Oh, that's why. I must have made a mistake. And see, that's another reason to confirm by ear and to follow. We can't trust the technology or ourselves because we might make mistakes. So this is 603. I don't know what I was listening to. I should go over that and see why I got it wrong. So yeah, there's 10%. So I should definitely have heard it. Now it's going to be, if it was 5% slower, you wouldn't lose anything. But this is 4.8% over the 5. So that's why it loses 4.8. I don't remember saying the second one slowed down. I can't remember. Okay, so let's continue on and hopefully I won't make any more errors there. 477. The next one, 460. See, that one increases by 3.7%, so you don't lose any marks, even though it's supposed to increase by 6, which you could hear. But since it's 3.7, you can't hear the difference. So the difference between 3 and 4 should be actually 0. You should not hear the difference between 3 and 4. Yeah, those just don't. And also, the craziness is right in here. It all slows down, right? That's why we don't want to take the beat rates through the valley, because look at that, it's 538, but if I take it here, it's 486. So that's why unisons are so important to be clean, because if they're not, you're going to wreck everything. Not to mention that it's just going to sound bad, right? All right, let's go to the 5th one now. 497. That one slows down. I think I remember saying that one slows down. Oh, look at this. It's 26%. Between the 2nd and the 3rd is a huge difference. And you see, by listening to that and burning it into your ear and saying, hey, ear, this is a huge difference. Don't do that anymore. And also you can hear it's right in there. We can't hear anything. And that's with completely filtered. Like, how do you expect to hear the beat rates when you're playing the piano when you can't even hear them when they're filtered? Let's listen to that. Thankfully, that part is coming out okay. All right, let's go to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, see, there's something in there. So if we're going to pick the first 4 clean beats, let's take that. 425. And then 370. And then kind of like have to guess at this. The beat rates didn't come up very clear. 403. All right, so now when you look at this, this would be 100% minus all of this. 67%. The final mark, this is what we do at the International Piano Technician School. We take twice the unisons and 1 of the interval, and that's like 2 of those and 1 of those, so that's a total of 3 marks. So we divide by 3 to get the average. So now what we're able to say is this. Technically, this passes, but who would be happy with that? 80.1. Now, not only should you not be happy with this because it's barely a pass, but the main reason why you shouldn't be happy with this is that you can hear it's wrong. Slows down, speeds up a huge amount. It's the same speed. Slows down, huge jump, slows down. You can hear those things. And also you can hear, like somebody else was saying, that when you hear the interval that has a bad unison, you can tell that the interval doesn't sound right. So let's listen to the 1st and the 3rd. The other ones seem to be okay, but the 1st and the 3rd, definitely there's problems there. The 1st and the 3rd. So that sound, that's the honky-tonk sound. And that's a nice clean sound. So you see what's happening? We're getting the feedback. We're getting the feedback. We're confirming by ear. It's like I'm getting the feedback and I'm saying the filtered sound is telling me that the first and the third should sound really bad. And now I say, do they? Because sometimes the technology is wrong. So we want to make sure, and in the process of confirming by ear, we're training our ear. It's like I have an instructor right over my shoulder saying, listen to this. This is what it is not supposed to sound like. The first one is wrong. Second one is right. The third one is wrong. See if you can train your ear to hear the difference between right and wrong. Not good. And the rest of them are clean. Easy to hear. And another really good technique is to confirm by ear this with the unfiltered version. That's what we'll do now. Slows down. Confirmed. Really fast. The same. Slows down. A lot faster. And slows down. Now, the thing that we're missing here are the fourths and the fifths. We just use the fourths because if you got bad fourths, you got bad fifths. So that's going to really point it out to us. Now, the problem is when you play the fourths and you're listening, or the fifths and you're listening and trying to hear which ones are ugly, the notes that make up these ones here, any of the fourths that have the F or the A, depending on which unison here is causing the problem, that fourth is going to sound bad, even though it could be good. So this is why unisons are so vitally important. Not just because you'll get fired for having bad unisons, or, as what happened to one of my students, you'll steal other technicians' customers by having good unisons. That's what happened. He tuned for a concert pianist and he had these clean unisons that he learned how to do at our school, and concert pianist gave him all of his students as customers, and those students were getting their pianos tuned by someone else who got fired because their unisons weren't clean enough. Not only that, but you can't hear when the unisons aren't clean. So that's the clue that we get. We get this clue when we're trying to hear these intervals that they're not clean. And then once you get them clean, now you can use the fourths and the fifths. And you could always tune with single strings if you want, and then unisons don't become an issue. But guaranteed, when you're done and you tune all your unisons, they're not going to be clean, because you have no checks and balances to make sure that they're clean. And that's what these unisons are. And that's why this person who sent in these intervals, and I assume they're open, that's why they did a good job by doing that, because we can hear for sure, not just the beat rates, but the unisons and see how clean they are. So this is how we at the International Piano Technicians School teach and evaluate. And high-level teaching without high-level evaluation. When I say high-level, what I mean is evaluation that you can understand, that makes sense to you, and is not just a, sorry, that's not good enough, you're going to have to do it again. No, we do it like this. And in our school, if you get evaluated, okay, like for example, if this was one of my students and he sent this in and I evaluated him and I said, I'm sorry, let's say one of these was like a 3. Let's say that was a 3. And I said, I'm sorry, you failed. If the student says, I don't think I should fail, I think I should pass, then they pass. But what student would say that? What student in their right mind would say that they should pass when they can see right in front of them, and they can see and hear, like, what is that? That's not even a beat rate. So they're not going to, they're the ones who are going to want it. Like any student who's I've ever had who's had a mark like this, or even like 82 or 83, I don't tell them they have to redo it. They tell me. And that is what makes a very, very good program, a very good method that really pushes people to be their best. And that's why the graduates of the International Piano Technician School are doing so well. Concert level tuners after 2 years doing concert level work and keeping those customers. It's one thing to get concert level work and professional musicians as customers. It's a completely different thing to keep them. And I know because I've had them in the past and they've fired me because of my unisons. Number one, that's the number one thing, unisons. So if you're interested in that, reach out, go to ipts.online or email me at mark@howtotunepianos.com and let's talk. Let's have a conversation about where you want to go with piano tuning.